Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending today's special meeting of the Placer County Board of Supervisors. Today is Friday, June 3rd, 2022. It's just a minute after 10:30 a.m., and we'll get the meeting started. We'll start with a flag salute. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, today is a special meeting of the board, and with that, public comment is limited to the one item on our agenda today. We don't take just general public comment, and I see so many of you here today that I do know you've probably come to speak with us. So I'm willing to take public comment now on our agenda item for today. Is there anyone who would like to speak to us? And again, limit your comments to 3 minutes on this agenda item.
Morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
And I'm Sarah Rose. I live in Rockland, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. But first, I would like to give prayer to Todd Leopold. I can't imagine going through that. The young man that was that died, and his family. You know, they're all victims. But the unanswered questions, being a resident of Rockland, is why wasn't his name put out immediately? I understand there wasn't a drug test going on, and I understand, or an alcohol test to see if there was any drinking involved with the driving. So there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I don't know much about Mr. Leopold, but if he has not been charged with manslaughter, I'm assuming this meeting is about either letting him go or disciplinary action. So I guess if there's lawsuits that are pending, why are we having this special meeting now instead of maybe waiting until the results come out? I guess it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse, unless you know something we don't know. So
Thank you, and we take public comment at these points, but we can't answer questions right now. There
Okay.
will be a statement at the conclusion of the meeting that may answer
Okay.
some of your questions.
And how do we get more special meetings going on some issues that we need to address?
You can contact our clerk of our board, and she'll bring it to me. We'll go through the agenda and see where we
Okay.
can.
And like I said, the prayers go out for Mr. Leopold Williams' family, Anthony
you.
Williams' family, and those people that died in Uvalde.
Thank you so much. Please come forward. And your name for the record?
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Michelle Mendez, and I spoke to you at the last board meeting. I was on Zoom talking about accountability, government accountability specifically. And first, I just want to thank you all for listening to what we had to say, because what we had to say was very important. It's very, right now, it hurts a lot because Anthony should have graduated, and we came together as a group of moms seeking some justice for Anthony. And we want transparency, and we're hoping that you all make that movement forward. I believe and I trust in our government process. Being a public servant myself, I understand what it's like to be put in those shoes, but I also understand the hurt and the trauma that's being placed upon our young youth right now, especially the ones that are walking across that aisle today to graduate without their friend. I really am a supporter of the transparency process that government has afforded us to have this kind of a due process, and I really hope the district attorney's office, as well as the sheriff's office, as well as Rockland PD, really make this better. It's been ugly and messy from the very beginning. It's still ugly and messy. It's like a slow leaking faucet, and information gets taken a little bit at a time to the public. And I understand there's a process, But at the same time, it's not doing anyone any justice here. And I hope and I pray that we, in the name of Anthony, seek some justice. I don't think Todd woke up and wanted to do this. I really don't. That's not what we're here to do. But if I were to do something like that, I can't hide behind a sheriff's office or a district attorney's office or board of supervisors. I have to be held accountable. And all we're asking is that he is held accountable the same way as any other citizen in this county. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm here to speak for a young man, and in my opinion, a boy. I have a daughter about the same age as Anthony Williams.
I'm sorry, can you give
My
me-
name is Lynette, and I'm here to speak for him because he can't speak for himself. And it's really sad, and I'm ashamed that Placer County has conducted themselves in the way that they have. I feel as though when this young man lost his life, it should have been apparent to everybody, and it immediately should have been released who the driver was. I understand the process. I'm very familiar with the process. What I'm not familiar with is how it seems as though Placer County is hiding and covering, and we're not getting our answers to the questions that we have all been asking. This isn't the first time I've been up here asking questions. I send emails. I do PRAs. You know my name. And I still do not get answers. So when I say that you are all aware of what transpired that evening, I am also saying that you are all aware of the other things that are being hidden in Placer County. You are all aware that there was a CCW letter sent out by the sheriff. You are all aware that it's a potentially that 2 captains of the sheriff's department are using time, county property, to do the work of their boss. You know that that is against the law. You know that that is against county policy. Believe me, I know you know it's against county policy because I received an email response that you are all very aware of county policy. So what my question is, why do you feel it necessary to continue to hide these things from the public? If it's to save your reputation, I can tell you, you are doing more damage by not being transparent than if you just came out and told the truth immediately. I know that you have at least 5 lawsuits pending against Placer County for conduct and how not just you all have conducted yourself, but other elected or appointed officials of this county have conducted themselves. It seems as though this is an MO of the county in which I have lived for many, many years. And it's very sad because I don't believe that Anthony Williams died in vain. And it's unfortunate that this is how we have to get the answers to our questions. One very important question: did this case or any other case that you are aware of that is potential criminal activity get sent to the district attorney's office for criminal review? And if not, why not? You know the process, you know the policy, and you should know the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lynette. I just need to remind you, no, sir, you can come up. I just need to remind everyone that please confine your comments to the item before us today. Our regular board meetings, we accept comment on any item under county business, but for today, we want to keep those comments to the case before us today, the agenda item.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Eric. I have questions that may be somewhat related. I'm aware that there's a young man who just recently lost his life in the accident involving Todd Leopold. My questions have to do with code of conduct regarding criminal allegations that are levied against members of law enforcement. I don't know if any of you can answer the question that I have. My question is is it correct, do I have the correct understanding that when criminal allegations are made against a member of law enforcement, that the proper procedure is that there has to be a criminal investigation in parallel with any internal investigation? Can anyone confirm if that's the case?
Again, I don't think that's relevant to the item on our agenda today. County
Okay.
Counsel, I'll ask you if,
This is not relevant.
Not relevant, okay.
Yeah.
Would any of you be willing to meet with me afterwards? And
after the meetings.
after the meeting is adjourned, I don't want to violate the decorum or anything.
Yeah,
Would that
thank
be-
you.
Would that be okay?
I'm sure we can,
Go to the front counter, they'll give you my card, and if you want to wait till they break, you and I can touch base.
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you for your comments. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Erin Acosta. I was one of Anthony's foster moms. This is Anthony. He would have been graduating with my other son, and he doesn't get to do that. We are here today once again as a reminder that Anthony Williams was taken from us in a senseless and tragic accident. For many weeks, his family, friends, and community were left in the dark about who was driving. How did this happen? In times like this, we usually turn to those who are sworn to serve and protect this community to provide answers and comfort. But instead, the only sense we got is that their goal was to protect the driver. This advocacy group was formed out of pure love and desire to see justice for Anthony. With our dedication, we exposed the driver along with his driving history. And yet, although Todd has finally come forward, far too late, may I add, Rockland Police has still done everything to protect Todd. Why is that? From the beginning, this investigation has been mishandled and the community misled by the silence. Race, financial status, political connections, and high-ranking positions should never be a factor when a life was lost. We will never get to see Anthony graduate, play basketball, get married, become a father, or reach any of the goals he set for himself. Accountability needs to be at the forefront of this situation. We as drivers have the ultimate responsibility to our pedestrians. Whether the pedestrian is in the right or the wrong, it's a human life versus a vehicle. The fact is, Todd has a history, a bad driving history. Did anybody take that into consideration when this happened? Was he tested? Was he detained? Was his phone checked? Did any of that happen? The fact is, it's been 2 months. Nobody has the answers. And why is that? I hear from my understanding, people are being kept in the dark on purpose and for a reason. I live in Placer County, and I would want to know, especially when it's something that happens to my family, somebody I know, somebody I love. I want to know why. I want to know how. I don't want to just hear nothing and have to find out for myself. I don't want to have to do the cop's job and start my own investigation. We trolled through social media. We went out and talked to people who were on the scene. We did the work to get the answers that we have. Where were the police in helping us get those answers? Instead, they just hid the answers. Why? Because of who Todd is? Because of who Anthony was or wasn't? Anthony was an 18-year-old kid. Whether he was in the right or the wrong, wherever he was walking, he was still a kid who had a right to live his life. Thank you.
Thank you, and we're so sorry.
Good morning. My name is Andrea. I'm a resident of Rockland. My daughter was dating Anthony. Today's a happy day because my daughter's graduating, but it's very sad because obvious reasons. But I moved here 2 years ago, thinking that this county, beautiful area, big homes, had everything that we needed and wanted. But I'll tell you, after March 19th, my whole take on this community has really left me with an impression that I feel bad. I feel sad. I don't know if I want to remain here. And it does start with the accident with Anthony, and other incidents that happened in Rockland High School that has nothing to do with Todd or Anthony, but there are a lot of issues here that need to be addressed. The demographics are going to change. Bay Area people are coming, they're coming to stay, and we need to learn to adapt. The obvious issues with the police department, I myself spoke to Detective Hilton, and he was very one-sided. He continued to keep his narrative the way he wanted it to be, which is why I recapped our phone call with an email, because I had a feeling he was going to insert things I've never said or make a lot of assumptions and draw his own conclusions. When I read that page on what he said about me, it's indicative of what the police department's been doing, making the story fit their narrative. And what do I tell my daughter? You know, what do I say when justice keeps failing us every time? So I'm hoping today, you know, we do the right thing. We really take a look deep down inside at right versus wrong, accountability. Take a look at the changes we need to make, because they're really toxic. And then the other, you know, hiding Todd's name, but Anthony, some first responder found out before my own daughter and her family, his family, because somebody in the police department or fire department decided to text and say, did you know Anthony Williams went to Whitney High School? Oh, he died. How does that happen? You were able to leak his name out during the time of the scene, and his family didn't even know, yet Todd's name was hidden for weeks. To me, that seems pretty one-sided, if you don't think that it is. And I don't want to go the black and white card, because like my sister said, I don't think he woke up saying, I'm going to hit a kid. I do think it was an accident or not. There needs to be some responsibility, and I think I'm hoping, I'm very optimistic that we're going to get to the truth. I hope the Rockland PD does also take some accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this as calmly as possible, but this one hits home really hard for me. My husband coached at the gym where Anthony played. All three of my children played alongside of him, and what this woman before me just said is absolutely true. This problem is so much bigger than a black and white issue. This is so much bigger than just what we're talking about here today. The problem in Placer County is deep, and what we tolerate, we encourage, we're allowing this. I don't think any one of you is not anything other than empathetic for that life loss, but we have to demand accountability. The sheriff's department and police department is not what it's supposed to be around here. And it's, you know, we have a lot of amazing officers out there that are fighting, that are defending and protecting our streets and our children, but we have a lot of administrative ones that are not. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is very important, and I'm going to explain to you what happened to me and what I've gone through from the Placer County Sheriff's Office. And back in April, because I asked a question online through social media, Captain Jeff Swearigan, and I'm sure you're probably aware of my complaint already, but Mr. Swearigan and I were on Facebook when I asked him a simple question, to which he responded twice. The second response was an attack on me, but additionally he revealed his private medical information to which I had no knowledge of. Then Mr. Swearigan looked up my family business and proceeded to write a slanderous review to intentionally diminish my family's sole source of income. Mr. Swearigan's comments were reckless, defamatory, and with intent to undermine and damage the credibility of my reputation in business. This is what Placer County, this is what we're doing, so we can, like she said, let Anthony's name go all over the place before his family knows. But what about us? And you guys are representatives of us. We need you. We need you to make Anthony's name remembered forever and to hold these people accountable. Mr. Swearigan, you know what they did when I filed my complaint? They assigned an investigator, Troy Minton Sanders. Those are the two gentlemen on the video placing Wayne Wu signs for political purposes during our time. They're wasting your money, they're wasting our money, they're wasting our time, and this is a violation of the people's trust. And we need every single one of these citizens and every single one of you in those seats to demand accountability and stand up. United we stand, divided we fall, and we need this. Please, Anthony Williams' name will not be in vain. He will be remembered. Make Todd accountable.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Nia Cooper. I am here just to speak on Anthony's behalf because unfortunately he is not here. I actually never had the honor to meet Anthony. I just heard about this in the news and I was so compelled. And unfortunately, I will never have the opportunity to meet him. And I took it upon myself to call the Rockland Police many of times. I have to say they were actually very defensive, which I found really unbelievable because it's our community, and I would feel like they would want answers. I think that we as a community should know what happened that night. On March 19th, we still don't know. We don't have any details, and I'm not sure I understand why we have children that are in that area. School's out, kids are going to be coming out, and we should know, was he speeding? Was he distracted? Was he on the phone? Is the speed limit too high? I asked about cameras. They told me the cameras there were no cameras, but there actually are cameras. So are the cameras not working? How do we protect our community? The other thing too is I think they have a reason that they're not being transparent. And for me, I feel like transparency doesn't change. Facts don't change. So if you're transparent, the facts aren't going to change if you're telling what actually happened that night. Anthony deserves justice. And even if it was an accident, and we still don't know that because, again, they haven't been transparent, facts don't change, you still have accountability. You took a life. You took someone's life. Accidents, you have to be held accountable. So when you say that there's no charges, I find that really hard to believe. When you get in a car accident, you have to take accountability, even if it's not your fault. If you go anywhere, if you're a doctor, a lawyer, anywhere you go, if you make an accident, there are still repercussions. So I don't know why Anthony it's almost like Todd became the victim and he was protected and Anthony wasn't protected. And I will seek justice, and there should be some justice. And I hope you guys can find it in your heart to have some empathy and compassion for people, because this could be your family, this could be your child. And I really don't believe that they would have kept this information secret from you. I don't know what power Todd holds over this county, but it's unacceptable. And it's unacceptable that the police department is not being transparent because, again, facts don't change. And I'm really saddened by how defensive they are. Every time I asked a question, they were really defensive. They are here for us. They work for us, the community. That's why they took oath to be police officers, not to protect people. I don't know if I would have been treated the same had I been in that accident, and God, I hope it never happens, knock on wood. But he wasn't detained. Was his blood tested? Did he have drugs in his system? We don't know any of these questions. How can it be going on 3 months and we have no idea what happened? The family doesn't know exactly what happened. So I just ask you to look into your hearts again, show some compassion, empathy, and we want to get to the bottom of this. And Todd needs to be held accountable, accident or not. He needs to be held accountable. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name's Jason. I wasn't going to comment on anything. I didn't really have anything prepared, but listen to all the comments here, and what I've been hearing is that we are really experiencing here in Placer County is really a breakdown in leadership, and also a breakdown in lack of integrity, not just on this issue, but a lot of other issues that has come before you guys, this board, for the last year and a half or so. And, it's really disappointing because I love this county, as all you guys do and a lot of other people, but we're seeing things like this that is really going to put a stain on this county. And I really believe that you guys are in a position to make this right for all your constituents and the community as a whole in Placer County. And I say this a lot, and I really believe this in my heart, is that I really believe that Placer County is in a perfect position to be a model that all other 57 counties in California that will want to model after. So it's just what I'm hearing is a little bit of damage control, that you guys are facing. And, even myself, I've been personally attacked by leadership within Placer County when all I have been trying to do is to get people engaged, get people involved, get people to run for local offices. And just because I don't support or line up with a narrative, I've been attacked and been called by, leadership within this county, which has been extremely disappointing because I have never attacked anybody personally because that is not my nature. I will hold accountable, which is my nature as well. But and so I just want to come up and just comment on that. Just we need to fix this breakdown of leadership in Placer County, and it is fixable. It's going to take a lot of sacrifices and a lot of humility, but I also believe that to be a great leader, you have to have an extreme amount of humility. And so, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Are there others? Thank you. Are there others who would like to address the board before we go into our closed session? I'm not seeing any online. Okay. Thank you for being here. Our profound sympathy to the family and friends. I'm sorry, we have a late hand raise.
Sandy, can you unmute your mic and give your comments, please?
Yes, hello. Sorry, I'm trying to live life and still be involved. I just want to echo what Jason said. I go to the same meeting for the
Sandy? Yeah, Sandy, we're having a very difficult time hearing you. We heard you at the beginning and then it kind of broke up. Are you able to start again and speak into the microphone of your phone or whatever device you're on?
Okay, hold on. Can you hear
Good.
me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Wanted to echo what Jason Wedge has just said.
Sandy, you're breaking up again.
And to be an example to other counties to have a
Sandy?
to show the process and how the process should go. So I encourage you to do stuff, do the right thing, bring very soon to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. We caught not all of that, but you can always email us here at the Board of Supervisors with your comments. Again, before we go into closed session, one more call if there's any other public comment. And again, on behalf of the whole board, we're so profoundly sad for your loss. It was a very tragic event. So with that, Karen?
The board will now adjourn to closed session under Government Code 54957 to conduct an evaluation of performance, discipline, or dismissal of the county executive officer. For members of the public, the board will be in closed session for as long as the board needs to discuss this matter. Thereafter, the board will return to open session and I will provide a report out.
And just to I know it's very challenging for us to estimate how long we'll need to talk about the situation, and I'm going to guess at least an hour and a half.
I'm going to guess at least an hour and a half, but please, that's strictly a guesstimate. The board needs to deliberate and discuss this as long as the board feels necessary.
I think if we could tell the public, I'm sorry, no sooner than 12:30 would be an estimate that I think it could be longer than that, but that's what we'll try to do. Okay, the board has returned from closed session. I'll ask County Counsel to provide a report.
The board met in closed session to conduct an evaluation of the county executive officer. The following is the report out of the closed session. The board met in closed session to evaluate County Executive Officer Todd Leopold following receipt of a workplace discrimination and harassment complaint filed by an employee on May 25th, 2022, and naming Mr. Leopold. The board directed County Council to transmit today a 30-day notice of termination with cause pursuant to the terms of the county's employment contract with Mr. Leopold. The aforementioned complaint is a confidential personnel matter and will not be disclosed to the public. The complaint and the board's actions today are unrelated to the tragic accident involving Mr. Leopold and Anthony Williams on March 19th, 2022. This concludes the report out of closed session.
Thank you, Karen, and we appreciate the report. On behalf of the full board, I've been asked to read another statement to the family and friends and folks that have been here to testify today. Since the Board of Supervisors learned of the tragic accident, we have not commented out of respect for the investigative process of the Rockland Police Department. As the matter is now before the Placer County District Attorney, we are again respecting due process, but understand how extremely frustrating this has been for the family and friends of Anthony Williams. Please accept our most sincere condolences as we learn much more about what occurred on the terrible night of March 19th. With that, we thank you, and we close today's board meeting. We are standing adjourned. Thank you.